Kyoto, Japan. A young samurai named Tenshi collapsed to his knees in the training yard. It wasn't his body that gave up. His muscles still obeyed. It was something quieter, heavier. From the edge of the yard, his teacher, Master Hayato, observed in silence before finally speaking. "You are not exhausted because your body is weak," Hayato said. "You are exhausted because your spirit is carrying a burden it was never meant to hold." Tenshi frowned. He didn't understand. He trained longer than anyone else, slept less, demanded more from himself than anyone around him. Yet every day he felt empty, drained, spent before the sun even disappeared. Elsewhere in Japan, another man lived very differently. Miyamoto Musashi, the swordsman spoken of in whispers. Duel after duel, relentless training, painting, writing, long stretches of solitude and meditation, more than 60 life or death encounters. Never defeated, never hollowed out. So what separated them? Here is what few people explain. Fatigue doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from moving in the wrong direction. Energy isn't produced by doing more. It comes from alignment. The real question isn't, how do I rest more? It's, why am I moving at all? Chapter 1. When Strength Begins to Leak. Osaka, 1640. Tenshi was 19 when he entered Master Hayato's dojo. He arrived with skill, discipline, fire. But within half a year, something shifted. Not pain, he could endure that. This was different. A weight in his chest that sleep could not remove. He woke up tired, trained tired, ate tired, slept tired. "What's wrong with me?" he asked his friend Kenro one evening. Kenro exhaled. "It happens. Many arrive burning bright and fade into smoke." Later that night, after losing a match to a student clearly beneath his level, Master Hayato approached. "Walk with me." They moved into the garden behind the dojo. The sun dipped low. Long shadows stretched across stone and gravel. "Tell me," Hayato said, "why did you come here?" "To become a great samurai," Tenshi answered quickly. "And why do you want that?" The question stopped him. "To honor my family, to be worthy, to be recognized, that's enough." Hayato's tone remained calm, but final. "You didn't come to master yourself," he said. "You came to be seen." Tenshi felt something tighten inside him. "You are training for approval," Hayato continued. "For validation. For proof that you matter." Silence. "That," he said, "is the source of your exhaustion." Hayato placed a small stone into Tenshi's hand. "Every time you train to impress, another stone. Every comparison, another stone. Every doubt, every overthought step, another stone." In Tenshi's mind, the stones stacked higher and higher. "You are not tired from discipline," Hayato said. "You are tired from carrying weight that serves no path." Tenshi looked down at his hand. It felt impossibly heavy. "Miyamoto Musashi faced death again and again," Hayato said. Yet his spirit remained intact. "Why?" Tenshi whispered. "Because he walked to understand himself, not to justify himself. No chasing approval. No circling." That night, Tenshi did not sleep. He saw it clearly. Always trying to be the best. Always trying to be admired. Always performing. He had never walked his own road. At dawn, Master Hayato spoke again. "For 1 year," he said, "you will not study the sword." Tenshi's head snapped up. "I came here to fight." "And you never truly will," Hayato replied, "until your spirit stops leaking energy like a cracked vessel. First we seal the fractures. Then we pour." Tenshi bowed. He didn't know it yet, but this decision would reshape more than his training. It would reshape his life. Chapter 2. The Way of Walking Alone. Before sunrise, Master Hayato led Tenshi to a small storage room behind the dojo. Inside were stacks of supplies, clothing, scrolls, tools, weapons, everything a warrior could want. "You will live in the mountains for 1 year," Hayato said. "Take only what you believe is necessary." Tenshi moved quickly. Extra clothing, a spare blade, books, and he kept reaching for more. Tools for writing, cooking equipment, extra blankets, supplies for situations that might never come. After 20 minutes, a small mountain of belongings lay at Tenshi's feet. Master Yamamoto watched in silence. Then he spoke. "Now," he said, "remove what is unnecessary." Tenshi hesitated. "But master, I may need these." Yamamoto answered without raising his voice. Miyamoto Musashi taught this. What serves no function becomes a burden. Every possession adds weight. Every attachment tightens a chain. Discard what you might need. Keep only what you must. Reluctantly, Tenchi began setting items aside. Half the pile vanished, then more again, until only 4 objects remained. 1 sword, 1 change of clothing, 1 blanket, 1 bowl. Yamamoto nodded once. This, he said, is the first law of enduring energy. Remove what has no purpose. They walked beyond the dojo to a quiet grove. Yamamoto lowered himself to the ground and motioned for Tenchi to sit across from him. Musashi lived like a passing shadow, Yamamoto said. He slept on bare floors, traveled light, often owned almost nothing. Many thought him odd. They were mistaken. Energy does not come from accumulation. It comes from subtraction. With his finger, Yamamoto traced 2 figures into the dirt. One hunched beneath a massive stone, the other upright, unburdened, moving freely. People carry invisible boulders, Yamamoto said. Even now. Old insults replayed, endless comparisons, expectations accepted without question. And then they wonder why they feel drained. He looked directly at Tenchi. You arrived here carrying stones. He named them slowly. The hunger to impress your father. Measuring yourself against others. Fear of judgment. Perfection with no clear aim. Seeking validation in every action. Each one pressed heavily inside Tenchi's chest. Musashi removed them all, Yamamoto said. For every thought, possession, and obligation, he asked one question. Does this serve my path? If the answer was no, it was released. This is Dudo, he said. The way of walking alone. Not lonely, not resentful, but free. To walk your road without dragging the expectations of others. Tenchi felt something loosen inside him. But master, he asked, how do you know what truly matters? Yamamoto smiled gently. That, he said, is what you are here to learn. But first you must grasp something deeper. His voice steadied, quiet, ancient. Across history, warriors uncovered the same truth. Energy is not born from force. It is born from alignment. Exhaustion is not weakness. It is excess weight. And long after this era, Yamamoto continued, people you cannot imagine in worlds far from these mountains will suffer the same burden. Scattered focus, divided purpose. Spirits crushed beneath stones they never chose. His gaze seemed to pass through Tenchi, beyond time. Those who walk Dudo, he said, those who choose alignment over strain, find what they were seeking. Not methods to push harder, but clarity to walk straighter. At presence and discipline we keep this alive, he said. Not as memory, but as practice. The ancient principle of energy through alignment, not effort. The warrior's path of removing stones, not strengthening the back to carry them. Yamamoto stood and offered his hand. If you feel drawn to this way, he said, if you recognize the unseen weight you carry, walk with us. This path does not belong to the past. The principle does not age. Choose alignment over exhaustion, clarity over noise, a straight road over endless circles. Musashi's secret is not hidden in scrolls. It lives in one decision. To let go of what serves no path. Tenchi bowed. For the first time he felt lighter, not stronger but free. As though he had stepped into a lineage older than his name. A lineage that knew true strength begins with simplicity. Yamamoto smiled. Chapter 3, The Test Removing the Stones. Good, Master Yamamoto said. Now we begin. This is where the stones are removed. Week 1. When the weight becomes visible for the next 7 days, Yamamoto gave Tenchi only one instruction. Observe, he said. Each time you act for approval, comparison, or validation, notice it. Do not fight it. Do not condemn it. Simply see it. Nothing more. By the 3rd day, Tenchi felt unsettled. During sword practice, thoughts intruded constantly. Am I better than Kenji today? Does my form look sharp enough? During meditation, whispers appeared. Does the master notice my discipline? Even while eating, his pace quickened. What if I look slow? No action stood alone. Every movement carried a second intention, to be witnessed. A hunger he had never named before. On the 7th day, Yamamoto spoke. This is the source of your fatigue, he said. Your mind divides itself. One part performs the action. The other performs for an audience that does not exist. That split drains energy faster than any labor. Miyamoto Musashi understood this early. After his first duel at 13, he did not seek praise. He returned home alone. Not from modesty, Yamamoto said, but from alignment. He fought to measure himself, nothing else. That clarity preserved his strength. Week 2. One action, one mind. The next lesson was simpler and harder. When you act, Yamamoto said, act fully. When you train, only train. When you eat, only eat. When you rest, only rest. No rehearsing what comes next. No revisiting what has passed. No silent performance. Tenchi tried and failed. While practicing forms, his thoughts scattered. Is my stance right? Am I improving quickly enough? What will the master think? Yamamoto stopped him. Your body is here, he said. Your mind is elsewhere. That distance is where energy escapes. He demonstrated a single strike. No wasted movement. No stiffness. No delay. Just presence. When Musashi fought, Yamamoto said, he was only fighting. No concern for reputation. No narration. No anticipation beyond the moment. That is why battle did not empty him. You tire because you struggle against yourself. Days passed. Then hours. Then brief moments appeared. Moments where Tenchi's mind fell silent. Where movement happened without explanation. Those moments felt effortless. As though strength rose from somewhere deeper than muscle. Week 3. The snare of comparison during sparring, Tenchi noticed a pattern. Against weaker students he felt energized. Against stronger ones his strength faded quickly. Yamamoto saw it immediately. What shifted? He asked. I don't know, Tenchi said. I lose energy when I face Hiroshi. Because you compare, Yamamoto replied. With someone stronger you feel lacking, one stone. With someone weaker you feel superior, another stone. Different shapes, same weight. Musashi did not compare, Yamamoto said. He wrote, nothing outside yourself can sharpen your blade. When you compare, he continued, you surrender your energy to another person's path and step away from your own. The following day, Yamamoto blindfolded Tenchi during sparring. You will not see who stands before you, he said. You will only respond to what appears. No names, no rank, no story. Tenchi's energy steadied. His movement softened, free of burden. Week 4, the first sense of lightness. By the 4th week, something changed. One morning, Tenchi woke feeling different. Not stronger, not faster, lighter. The pressure in his chest had loosened. That day he trained without commentary. No measuring, no performing, only movement, only attention. Afterward, Yamamoto approached him. You are beginning to see, he said. This is what Musashi called the ordinary mind. The mind that adds nothing unnecessary to action. He paused. But do not misunderstand. Removing stones is only the beginning. First, you lighten the load. Next, he said quietly, you must understand why you walk at all. Chapter 4. Warrior Psychology, the Science of Alignment. 2nd month. Master Yamamoto gathered the students beneath the open beams of the dojo. Tenchi sat near the front. His mind felt sharper, less crowded than it had in years. Today, Yamamoto began, I will explain why Miyamoto Musashi never emptied himself. While other warriors, often stronger, sometimes more gifted, collapsed under exhaustion. He paused. Your body has limits, he said. But the spirit obeys different laws. And to understand those laws, he continued, you must understand alignment. Energy renews itself when your life moves in a single direction. It drains when your attention is pulled apart. Yamamoto spoke plainly. One day, he said, people will give this a scientific name. They will call it mental load. When the mind performs one action while worrying about another, energy burns rapidly. When your behavior conflicts with your values, when you act for approval instead of purpose, the spirit leaks. Musashi aligned everything. His actions served his path. Nothing else competed. And that alignment created energy that looked effortless. Musashi's rule. Yamamoto unrolled a narrow scroll and read aloud. Do nothing that does not serve. Few words. Relentless discipline. Musashi removed everything that failed this test, Yamamoto said. Thoughts, habits, possessions, obligations. Not to appear disciplined, but to survive. In combat, one unnecessary movement can end a life. One stray thought can open a fatal gap. But Musashi applied this rule beyond battle. He applied it to living. That, Yamamoto said, was his true advantage. A truth shared across civilizations. This understanding was not his alone, Yamamoto continued. Far west of here, Roman thinkers practiced the same principle. One of them wrote, you govern your mind, not external events. When perception is disciplined, energy grows. When you fight what you cannot control, opinions, outcomes, recognition, energy dissolves. Musashi mastered this fully. That is why fear never ruled him, even after dozens of duels. Attachment and drain. Yamamoto drew a circle in the dirt with his finger. Why does seeking validation exhaust you? He asked. Because you place your stability outside yourself. When that external source shifts, you must constantly adjust. And constant adjustment is costly. Musashi practiced non-attachment, a principle rooted in Zen. He entered battle to meet reality, not to collect praise. When fixation on results disappears, action becomes light. And light action does not drain. It replenishes. No mind in combat, Yamamoto said. Musashi often entered what warriors call no mind. A state where thought dissolves and action flows. Time thins. Effort fades. Energy feels unending. Why? Because nothing is divided. No observer watching the action. No comparison running beside it. Only movement. You have tasted this, Yamamoto said, looking at Tenshi. In brief moments when body and mind merged, Musashi lived there. Rhythm over motivation. Yamamoto's voice firmed. Musashi warned against dependence on motivation. Motivation is expensive, he said. It must be constantly reignited. Rhythm is cheap. Do you require motivation to breathe? To walk? To wash your hands? No, because those actions belong to rhythm, to identity. Musashi did not force himself to train. He became someone who trained. That identity required no negotiation. This is why discipline outlasts motivation. Discipline creates rhythm. Rhythm preserves energy. And preserved energy becomes quiet power. Tenshi absorbed every word. This was not philosophy. It was a map of how energy truly behaves in a warrior's life. Chapter 5. The First Transformation. The Duel Without Exhaustion. 4th month. Master Yamamoto announced a test. Tenshi would spar against Hiroshi, the strongest student in the dojo. For over a year, Hiroshi had defeated him every time. The old Tenshi would have spent the night restless, comparing, doubting, replaying failure before it arrived. The new Tenshi did none of that. He prepared his wooden sword, loosened his shoulders, sat in stillness. No nervousness, no comparison, only readiness. At first light, the students gathered. Hiroshi stepped forward, confident as ever. They bowed, took their stances. Then something unexpected happened. Tenshi did not engage Hiroshi. He met the moment. No concern for outcome. No internal measuring. Only response. Hiroshi attacked first, fast, forceful, familiar. And Tenshi moved. Not ahead of it. Not behind it. With it. No calculation. No prediction. Only motion answering motion. 3 minutes passed. A strange shift began. Hiroshi's breathing grew uneven. His strikes lost precision. His footwork tightened under strain. Tenshi looked unchanged, as if the duel had only just begun. Murmurs spread through the onlookers. They had never seen this. 5 minutes. Hiroshi continued to land more hits, technically ahead, yet frustration crept into his movements. His shoulders sagged. Tenshi remained calm. 7 minutes. Hiroshi stepped back, chest rising sharply. I need rest. Tenshi stood poised, breath steady, unchanged from the opening moment. Yamamoto raised his hand. That is enough. Later, Hiroshi approached Tenshi, disbelief etched across his face. How? He asked. You're not even tired. I'm stronger, Hiroshi admitted quietly. But I'm empty. Tenshi smiled gently. You fought to win, he said. I fought to remain present. Winning consumes energy. Presence creates it. That evening, Yamamoto addressed the students. What you witnessed today, he said, is the principle Musashi lived by. Energy does not come from strength alone. It comes from alignment. Hiroshi divided his energy, Yamamoto continued, fighting his opponent while judging himself, clinging to victory, fearing loss. That division drained him. Tenshi unified his energy, fully present, unattached to outcome, responding moment by moment. That unity generates endurance. This is why Musashi survived more than 60 duels. Not because he was the strongest, but because he was the most aligned. Tenshi bowed deeply. For the first time he understood, energy is not something you gather. It is something you stop losing. Yet mastery within controlled sparring was only the beginning. What followed would reveal whether Tenshi had truly changed, or whether deeper pressure would pull him back into old patterns. Chapter 6. Deep training arc. The mountain monastery. 6th month. Yamamoto summoned Tenshi forward. You will spend 3 months at Reigan Temple, he said. The monks there will show you the deeper structure of alignment. 2 days later, Tenshi climbed toward the mountain monastery. Stone walls. Cold mist. A silence heavier than anything he had known. At the gate, the head monk, Master Hakuin, greeted him. Yamamoto tells me you are learning Judo, Hakuin said. Good. Here you will learn why one walks alone at all. The daily rhythm. The monastery moved by an unchanging schedule. No exceptions. No variation. 3 a.m., wake. 3:30 a.m., cold water purification. 4 a.m., seated meditation 2 hours. 6 a.m., walking meditation. 7 a.m., breakfast in silence. 8 a.m., manual labor 4 hours. 12 p.m., meal. 1 p.m., study. 2 p.m., seated meditation 2 hours. 4 p.m., evening work. 6 p.m., dinner. 7 p.m., reflection. 8 p.m., sleep every day. For 90 days. The first week was unbearable. Not because of the work, Tenshi could endure effort, but because of the repetition. No novelty. No stimulation. No distraction. Something uncomfortable surfaced. He was addicted to variation. Always seeking what was new, different, more engaging. That craving had been draining him all along. The monks taught him a quiet truth. Rhythm preserves energy. Novelty consumes it. Training in non-resistance. 3rd week. While carrying water from the well to the kitchen, a thought arose. This is meaningless. I came for warrior wisdom, not to haul buckets. Master Hakuin noticed at once. You are resisting, he said calmly. And resistance is where energy escapes. He lifted a bucket and walked, steady, effortless, complete. No irritation. No inner argument. No desire to be elsewhere. Only walking. Musashi painted, Master Hakuin said quietly. He carved wood. He practiced calligraphy. Not because these mattered more than combat, but because he gave complete attention to whatever was in his hands. When you wish to be somewhere else, Hakuin continued, your energy splits between where you are and where you want to be. That split drains you. When you are fully here, he said, energy moves without resistance. Tenshi trained this without exception. During labor, during meals, during silence. Slowly the truth revealed itself. The work had never been the problem. Resisting the work was. The meditative shift. 8th month. During early morning meditation something changed. Tenshi's mind, once busy, restless, narrating everything, settled. Not through force. Not through control. It quieted on its own. Like fog dissolving in sunlight. There was no effort. No watcher observing the stillness. Only awareness. And within that quiet, energy felt unbroken. From that stillness, understanding arose. Not as a thought he created, but as something that passed through him. This practice, this alignment, those who walk this path, across eras, across lifetimes, arrive at the same realization. Energy does not come from the world. It comes from how you relate to the world. In every age, people search for this without knowing its name. How to stop feeling drained. How to find vitality that doesn't depend on circumstances. How to walk steadily while everything else spins. This is why the warrior discipline endures. Not as myth, not as history, but as living practice. The method of alignment, the discipline of conserving energy, the path of removing stones rather than strengthening oneself just to carry them. If you feel this, if you recognize that your exhaustion comes from division, not effort, then walk with us. Not as a spectator, as a practitioner. A quiet lineage of warriors choosing clarity over chaos. Each week, new practices. Each week, deeper alignment. Each week, energy restored, not through rest but by releasing what drains it. Because Musashi's secret was never hidden in temples. It exists in a single decision, to walk your path alone, unburdened. The insight passed. Tenshi opened his eyes. Around him, the monks remained motionless in meditation. But something fundamental had shifted. He was no longer learning a method. He had entered something timeless. A lineage of warriors who understood that true energy rises from within, not from circumstance. Across the hall, Master Hakuin met his gaze. He smiled, as if he had seen the realization form. By the 9th month, Tenshi was changed. He woke with energy, not because he slept more, but because he carried nothing unnecessary. He trained for hours, not by forcing himself, but because his movement met no resistance. He worked without strain, not because tasks were easier, but because he was fully present. The monks sent word to Master Yamamoto. He is ready, they said. He understands alignment. Chapter 7. The final test, the true confrontation. After 9 months away, Tenchi returned to the dojo. Master Yamamoto welcomed him quietly. Tomorrow, he said, you will face your final test. Not sparring. Reality. A Ronin had been terrorizing nearby villages. Kill. Merciless. Several samurai had challenged him. Few returned unharmed. Some did not return at all. The magistrate requested Yamamoto's help. Yamamoto chose Tenchi. That night, Tenchi slept deeply. Not from exhaustion. From calm readiness. The old Tenchi would have spiraled. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I die? The new Tenchi held only this: I will meet what appears. The outcome is not mine to command. My presence is. The confrontation. The following day, the village square stood silent. The Ronin waited. Nakamura, a man known for ruthless efficiency. Tenchi approached, bowed, drew his blade. Nakamura laughed. You're young, he said. You won't last. Tenchi said nothing. Centered. So, the fight began. Nakamura attacked with savage intent, killing strikes, no restraint. But as the minutes passed, something unexpected emerged. Nakamura's breath grew ragged. His movements tightened. Precision gave way to force. Tenchi remained unchanged, fluid, responsive, as if the encounter had only just begun. This disturbed Nakamura. He was accustomed to breaking opponents through pressure. But Tenchi did not push back. He did not harden. He flowed. He did not fight harder. He answered precisely. 10 minutes passed. An eternity in real combat. Nakamura staggered, gasping, movements unraveling. And then Tenchi saw it. A single opening. Clear. Unforced. One clean strike. Nakamura's sword left his hands and clattered across the stone. The Ronin fell to his knees. Defeated. Alive. How? Nakamura gasped. I'm stronger. I fought longer. Why are you not exhausted? Tenchi sheathed his blade. Because I wasn't fighting you, he said. I was present to each moment. You fought for victory. Victory drains energy. Presence creates it. The magistrate offered praise. The villagers erupted in celebration. Tenchi accepted neither. He turned and walked away quietly. No performance. No claiming of honor. Just as Musashi once did. One decisive act. Then moving on. That evening, Master Yamamoto spoke. What Tenchi showed today, he said, is Musashi's true teaching. The room fell silent. Because they finally understood. Musashi faced more than 60 duels, many where a single mistake meant death. Yet he lived into old age. He never burned out. Not because he rested more, but because he aligned completely. His energy came from within, from clarity of purpose, simplicity of action, and freedom from attachment to outcomes. That is why he could fight, create art, write philosophy, train others, and meditate for long periods, without depletion. Energy was never something he built. It was something he preserved. By removing everything that drained it. The final truth. Years later, Tenchi, now a master, reflected on what he had learned. Musashi's secret was never mysterious. It was unforgivingly simple. Energy does not come from what you do. It comes from why you do it. When action aligns with your true path, when you stop performing, stop comparing, stop seeking approval, energy becomes abundant. Not because you gain more, but because you stop losing it. Most people exhaust themselves not through effort, but through division. They carry invisible stones: comparison, resentment, perfection without purpose, split attention, validation seeking, resistance to the present, peace tied to outcomes, doing one thing while thinking about another. Musashi removed all of it. Single-pointed presence. No attachment to results. No resistance to what is. This was not philosophy. It was survival. In combat, divided attention means death. In life, it means burnout. Musashi applied battlefield truth to living itself. That is why he never burned out. The truth: few want to accept. You are not tired because you work too hard. You are tired because you work scattered, unaligned, distracted, carrying weight that serves no purpose. The solution is not more rest. It is realignment. Ask one question of everything in your life: does this serve my path? If the answer is no, remove it. It does not matter if others value it. It does not matter if you are expected to care. If it is not your path, it is a stone. Remove the stones. Walk straight. Energy follows. The circle closes. 10 years later, Tenchi taught in his own dojo. One evening, a young student approached him, exhausted, burned out, exactly as Tenchi once was. "Master," the student said, "I train hard but I'm always tired. What's wrong with me?" Tenchi smiled. He placed a small stone in the student's palm. "Each time you train for approval," he said, "you carry this. Each comparison, another stone. Each moment you resist what is, another. Stone by stone." The student looked down, confused. "You are not tired from training," Tenchi said gently. "You are tired from carrying weight that serves no purpose." Miyamoto Musashi fought countless duels, trained daily, created art, wrote books, and never burned out. Because he carried no stones. Tenchi turned toward the training hall. "Come," he said. "I will teach you what my master taught me. What the mountain monks taught me. What Musashi understood centuries ago. Energy does not come from rest. It comes from alignment. When action, belief, and path point in the same direction. When nothing unnecessary is carried, energy becomes steady, unforced, enduring." Tenchi's words traveled far beyond the dojo. This teaching continues across time. Not as history, as practice. The discipline of alignment. The removal of stones. The path to energy independent of circumstance. If you recognize yourself here, if you feel worn down by invisible weight, walk the straight path. Because it is not effort that exhausts us. It is running in circles. And the straight path never tires.